Do you hate alcohol? I'll tell you one thing. Let's go and let's be the example that we want to see in this world. You know, get out there and put yourself out there and just do the things that you want to be able to see around us. You know. I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com, and today I just wanted to talk about being the example that you want to see in the world, right? Making the change. I think Gandhi said that if you want to see a change in the world, be that change first yourself. Do the change yourself first. Don't expect everyone else around you to make the changes, and then you come up on the arse end of it when everyone else is doing it. Be out there in front and do these things. From a personal level, right? This was one of the things that really got me going into the anti-alcohol life. Take alcohol out of my life. Being the example that I wanted to see in my world, right? And my world included my son. My son's a big part of my world, and he's the person who I wanted to influence more than anything else, and I'm heading in the right direction. I'm getting there. I can't expect my son to make those changes in his life while I'm still doing it. I mean, maybe he would. Maybe he would think, I can see what effect it's having on you. So I keep on drinking, and I get myself into such a position where, I'm so ill with it, and it's definitely been caused by the alcohol. And my son turns around to me then and goes, "Yeah, Dad, I'm stopping drinking. I don't want to end up like you." I want my son to turn around to me and go, "Dad, I want to do what you're doing. I want to, you're inspiring me to do this kind of stuff now. I'm proud of what you're doing." Not the other way around. And that's one of the things that I visualized and I saw over and over again. I forced myself to face up to it. Of my son looking over me while I was lying in a sick bed, dying of sclerosis of the liver or whatever else. There's, say, 200 different conditions, so over 200 different conditions, life-threatening conditions. And he's leaning over me, and I stink, and I look like shit. I can see myself, and he's visibly upset. Yeah. Ooh. I tell you, it's a tough one. If you've got kids, then just imagine this. Do this. Go through your head and do this, right? Or somebody that you care about. Do this inside your head. Think about yourself lying on a sick bed, stinking of piss or stinking of whatever it is that your body is not able to do anymore, and your body's giving off this horrible odor. Your body is dying, and the person who's looking over you, who you care about, watch them. Watch the tears coming to their eyes. I tell you, it fills you up. It's one of those things. Keep that into your head. If you do this every time, I mean, you're craving for a drink, then you'd never drink, because just the way it makes you feel yourself, it gives you an emotional hit. That's where your commitment comes from, is from those emotions. That's where all your motivation is going to come from, is from your emotion. If you don't feel an emotional connection to the reason that you're quitting, then you won't quit, So that was my thing, was to be the change that I wanted to see in my world, and I had to do it myself, And that's expanded now, right, to seeing alcohol with the same, seeing alcohol. I don't know if I want to see it banned, right? I don't know if it's a possibility that it's going to be banned, because once you ban something, then you're sort of facing into the world that we're living in now with the war on drugs, right? It's like, it's just bullshit, you know. It doesn't work. It's not working. It's spending so many billions and billions every single year trying to fight off something which is like, you know, if somebody wants to do that to themselves, then let them, you know. What I'm all for is education and educating children and fair, you know, trying to get people into situations where they don't want to take drugs. I mean, there's an old study, there's been several studies done on animals and rats in particular, where they put them in cages and stuff, and they feed them on cocaine or heroin or whatever it is, different drugs. There was a famous one done on cigarettes years and years ago, by, I think it was Philip Morris, I think it was. Anyway, they were trying to basically get the rats as hooked as possible, you know, on their brand of cigarettes, or on nicotine in general, you know. And they were trying to see which chemicals they could add to the cigarettes which would heighten the buzz, so to speak, right? But these other experiments with the, I think it was cocaine that they were feeding rats on, and basically they put a rat in a cage, they gave it like a water bottle with cocaine in it, and basically the rats just drank and drank and drank the cocaine until they dropped dead of whatever cause, you know, like they coked themselves to death basically. But, and here's the catch, they did another experiment called Rat Park, right? You can see this online, have a look. And they did the same thing, right? They put rats in a cage, right? They put water, and inside the water was cocaine, right? The only difference was that Rat Park was built like Rat's version of Disneyland, right? It was everything that a rat could desire, right, in one massive cage, right? It was a huge thing. And all the rat's needs were met. All the, you know, it had places where it could go and have a ride, places where it could go and eat what it wanted to eat. It had a lovely bedding to sleep in. It had toys to play with, all this kind of stuff, right? Exercise areas, you know. And hardly any of the rats even wanted to touch the cocaine. So it wasn't the fact that the cocaine was there, right, in the original experiments. It was the fact that the rats were in a fucking cage, right, with nothing, right, nothing. They were just them and this bleeding cocaine, you know. So imagine if you were in a cage, right, if you were locked up in a prison cell, solitary confinement, and you were in those conditions, and there you go, here's a fucking needle with some heroin in, you know, and an endless supply of heroin. What would you do? Or an endless supply of alcohol. What would you do? Endless supply of cigarettes, you know. You'd do it, wouldn't you? You know, just to escape the boredom, to escape the mind-numbingness of just being alone in a cage like that, you know. That's the reason. So it's context more than anything else. And it's exactly the same thing in the world, you know. If you put people in situations where they're not fulfilling themselves, where they just are drones getting up in the morning and not having any reason to live, not having any point in life, what do you expect that they're going to do? You know, there's a readily supply of drugs on the corner. Some guy selling angel dust, right? Or some guy selling crack cocaine, or the off license is down the corner, right? What do you expect? This is what I want to try and change, is that perception. You know, that people, the more people have in their lives, the more outlook they have, the more promise, hope that people have in their lives, the less they're going to push themselves towards drugs, the less they're going to take drugs. So you don't have to make the drug illegal. You know, I'd like to see alcohol with the same things as cigarettes, which are at the moment. They're heading towards just being pure white packaging, no branding, no sort of flowery boxes. You know, you can't. Every box is going to be exactly the same as the next box, right? That's the way it should be. You You know, all these pictures and stuff or whatever, I don't know if they work. You know, the pictures of really damaged hearts and kidneys and lungs and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I want to see. You know, that's where I want to take my sort of thing. If I can move people towards thinking that, educate people, and you know, look, the benefits are there, right? The benefits of quitting drinking are there, right? And I like talking about them more than anything else. You know, there's 3.5 million people every year dying, 200 conditions, a quarter of all our young people dying from alcohol abuse. You know, they're figures and stuff that people just ignore. They let that go over their head. They're not looking for that. They don't want to see that. They don't want to see the damage. You know, they're not interested in that kind of stuff. So I don't think it works. So anyway, look, that's just a whimsical one from me, just on my ideas of being the change that you want to be in your own life. You know, nobody else is going to make the changes for you. Nobody else is going to force you to do this. You know, at the end of the day, it's your body, it's your life. You've only got one, so you know, put up with the discomfort that it's going to take. Put up with the small bit of discomfort. You know, how long is it going to last? As long as it lasts, right? Get your head around it first. Point yourself in the right direction. Move forwards. Don't look back, you know, make the commitment to stopping drinking, and that's it, you know. You don't have to go through this discomfort. The discomfort will last the rest of your life, right? If you keep quitting and giving in and quitting and giving in and quitting and giving in, right? The rest of your life, because you'll always want to quit. You'll always feel that discomfort. You'll always want to go through. I did this with cigarettes for so many years. Went through that horrible time, you know, the discomfort at the beginning, the first few days, over and over and over and over and over again. Till finally I, you know, copped onto myself and realized what I was doing and, you know, pushed through and refused to do it anymore, you know. And I had somebody beside me who was helping me with this one, but, you know, it's the discomfort that you have to go through. You have to go through that small bit of pain to get out the other side and see the freedom that you've got then, you know. It's like anything in life, there's a price to be paid, you know. Pay the price now and forever reap the benefits. If you have any questions at all, leave them down below. Come on over to the website, sign up to the newsletter, give us a thumbs up. Until next time, stay safe, keep the alcohol out of your mouth, make the changes that you need to see in your own world, and be the change that you want to see in your own world. I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Onwards and upwards.